Hey you guys. Well, I've been wanting to do more videos to, I don't know, I guess keep myself busy and others busy, not just entertained, but also learning during the times right now since we're all kind of staying more at home. But this is making it a lot more real for me. So there's been calls out for anybody who can sew to create masks right now, like medical masks out of household items, different fabrics, different materials. So I'm like gathering up all of my fabric that seems like what they're looking for. I think 100% cotton, and starting a little assembly here. I've got mine. I'm ironing it now to make it easier to cut all the patterns. I printed this. You can find these online, and if you sew, I guess now's the time. So this is crazy. I just can't believe this is happening. Like, in our lifetime, I remember when 9/11 happened, and that was insane. Like, I couldn't even believe that something like that could happen so close to home, and then and I know different people and countries in the world have crazy things happen all the time, like fighting and wars and everything else like that. Even some places have to worry about illness and just like not having clean water. But this is like a whole nother level that people outside of the medical field are, and people outside of factories are actually being called in to make medical equipment right now. I just can't believe it. It's crazy. I definitely thought that we had the worst of it all behind us, like with 9/11, or at least I was hoping that. It's probably stupid and naive, but this is happening. So everybody stay safe, stay home, be productive, learn things, read books, reconnect with people on the internet, your family. Our family is just did a super Zoom session yesterday, and we only get to see each other all maybe like once a year, if that. So just like keep it together. And it's kind of funny, like I feel weirdly calm. I normally struggle with anxiety, but I don't know, I feel weirdly calm and I feel really good. And there were other things that I thought I was supposed to be doing this spring, but it's very clear to me that those things did not happen because the universe knew that this was going to be happening. This is a waking up of the humans, I believe. So, anyway, good luck, everybody. Stay safe, make good choices. Hate to say enjoy this time, but enjoy your time at home and don't let it be a negative experience for you. And I'm so sorry if anybody watching this has lost anyone or even has the virus itself, theirself. But we gotta stay strong and keep it together and do what you can. I know grocery stores are hiring right now to just help like distribute food because they're going to curbside service and everything. So I encourage you, especially if you feel bored or you feel cut off from the world, to volunteer. I'm gonna film more here and maybe walk through this process of creating these masks with you guys in case anyone has a sewing machine laying around their house. You can also do this. They even said, because of the 100% cotton being good for it, you could use old t-shirts or old pajamas, like flannel pajamas, to do this. So, okay, I think it's ready to cut the pattern. Here's the pattern that I'm using. It's got the different, the different sizes for people. There's kid size, baby size, teenage size, woman, and then big man face size. So, dang. Okay, so I just cut out the 4 pattern pieces. I've got one of each size. They make one like man size, teenage / woman size. Let's see, young kid 7 to 12-ish, and then a small kid 3 to 6 years old. So now we are going to start tracing. Okay, so we've got our fabric folded over here. This is actually the middle line. See, it's on the other side, so this is a fold. That way, whenever you lay this pattern piece down, you can just pin it to the lump here and then have 2 pieces cut out when you cut it out. Okay, just basic sewing stuff. And just pin it a couple times. You have to lift up the bottom. I'm using my ironing board as my table here also, because I don't have a proper sewing table. Hopefully I will have one at some point, but right now this works. Like pin it through. Okay. And then you're ready to, sometimes people trace, you've got to add seam allowance here. So I'm going to leave roughly like 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch around all edges here, and then just cut it out. Okay, so now it's cut out. See the extra seam allowance around the edge here. We have to cut this twice. One for the outside, which is this, and then another set for the inside, the lining or the extra thickness. And then we'll leave the edges open so that they can slide the filters, the changeable filters, and through there and keep reusing these. Okay, so yeah. So to make it easier during this production process, especially if you're working by yourself, so you have these 2 here. This is going to be the fabric I'm using for the lining. What I'm going to do is just transfer these pieces and the shape. Again, this is folded over, so you've got 2 layers here. So pin it down, or whichever direction works, I guess, is good. But just pin it straight to the fabrics together to match up. Okay, so those are now pinned, maybe a couple more times so it doesn't move around if you want. Just trying to do it quickly. And then I'm just going to cut straight around this because the seam allowance has already been added. So now we have the 4 pieces here. We have the 2, just for teaching's sake, we have the 2 outer pieces, which are the floral, and then the 2 inner pieces, which are the peach lining, all the same shape, all cut together here. All right, so we can unpin those, and then I'll lay them out in the shapes that we're going to be sewing them, so you get a better sense of where this is going. These together. Once these are together, they'll form like a round nose piece here, but they're going to be opened up like this. And then the same with these, going to be opened up like this. And then add the loops for the elastic band to the side edge here. So we have the points up at the top. If you're looking at them, they're going to flip the right sides or the pattern sides together here and sew this first line. Okay, you see, I'm kind of working with my camera here so I can't see what you're seeing. So you just sew along this first edge. Okay, and we'll do that for both sets, just sewing along that rounded out edge here. Okay. Okay, so now these are sewn. As you can see, we have the seam across there and the same seam across here, right? So basically what we're going to do is open up this. See how the seam allowance is there sticking up? We're going to take an iron and press it to the side, like press it down to one side. Doesn't matter which side really, but we're going to do that with both sets here. So just open and then press to the side here. I guess I can leave the camera on and show you because I'm having to do it anyway. I'd like to keep this video as brief as possible in case there are a lot of steps here. Okay, see it like pressing out. Maybe you can't really see. Okay, so now that we've kind of pressed it the way we want it to go here, we're going to need to do a little top stitch down the front line to hold this seam allowance in place. So something you might experience whenever you flip this inside out, like this, is that the seam allowance gets all bunched up. You can cut little, well, I'll just show you. You can cut little notches in that seam edge there. Don't go all the way up to the thread, to the stitch line. But if you do that, it kind of puts ease and room in there to fold it better. So, makes it more forgiving, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now we have the two pieces that are going to be the front and the lining of the mask with their seam allowances sewn down into one side. Now we are going to finish off, I believe this is what we do first, finish off the edges of the lining. It's going to need to be open on the sides so that way if they do have access to another material to put inside of this mask for a filter, they can. So we're going to go ahead and just like fold the edges down maybe about that much and sew on both sides just for the one that's going to be on the inside, which is this one. Okay, so now we have this nose piece, which is the inside of the mask. We've sewn both sides of the lining. We are going to attach it to the outside, which we still have raw edges on both sides here. So here's the nose bridge. We are going to attach, you flip it inside out, like so, and then this one's the right side. So we're going to put correct sides, or pretty sides, whatever you want to call it, together. See, now you can see the inside like this, and then sew across the nose bridge here first. And of course align the center seams there with there, and then sew across the top. Okay, so now these are sewn together at the top. We're going to do the same thing across the bottom. Okay, sorry about the video. I'm still trying to figure out what works best working from my ironing board. So now we've attached the top of the mask. It's going to fit over the face like that. We've sewn across the top. The next thing is we're going to do the same thing across the bottom, which leaves the sides open like this, so you can stick the filter through. Okay, so now that these are attached, both top and bottom, see the outside is a little bit longer still because it's going to be the front. We'll go ahead and flip inside out so you get a better idea of where this is going. Okay, with the pretty sides out. Okay. And then, of course, same with that. Okay, so we're trying to line up the outsides with the insides. Okay, good. Now, we have the basically we have the mask shape now. So here it is, and here's the inside. It's inverted there to fit. So we leave the sides open, both sides, because if they have an extra piece of whatever they use to filter, they're going to stick it through and they're going to need to change them in and out. But we're going to take these little flaps here and fold it over and sew it with a big gap to like make a little tube so we can run the elastic or the yarn through it here. Okay, so there's several ways really you can do that. You could just like fold it over and leave it open and then sew, like hand sew a little piece of elastic to go around the head, or you could use yarn. You could sew yarn on to make it a tieable one. Just make sure to leave enough length so that it could tie around somebody's head easily. So yeah, but this is the basic shape. If you want, you could go ahead and stitch along the top to kind of close it up and seal it off even more. But yeah, basic mask. Okay, so now we have done the little tube across the side here to stick the elastic through or the yarn through, whatever it is that you're using. It was kind of like making the top of a little tiny curtain, same idea, where you can have it hollow and open at both ends to just put the elastic through. But this one's more or less done, so good luck. I'm gonna make many more. This was the I think this was the teenage/woman size, so yeah, but it's good to go. Okay, so I have finished my first mask. To be honest, that was not time efficient at all, so I'm going to keep looking at ways to still make the shape and the basic idea of 2 layers, but cut out the time. And I'll tell you what was not efficient was the sides here and trying to weave this elastic through. So I think what I may end up doing is just attaching elastic to each corner, just like tying it, maybe poking a hole and tying it on, rather than trying to do this curtain rod thing, because I just had to inchworm it through attached to a safety pin and it took forever. So yeah, so I'll let you know if I come up with any better ways. And please, if anybody tries this and you think of a better way to do it, please let me know. That would cut out the time, because I think that whole process took me about an hour and a half, which is way too long, not efficient. So, but good luck everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy.